What's up, guys? It's time for another podcast episode, which actually is not. It's a YouTube episode. I always mess that up.
Well, we're done. We do it. I'm just kidding.
Of Chibi Podcast. It's our review for Venom. Let there be Carnage. So you got me, David the Smash fan,
Monster Tech guy.
Mister.
Yeah, Brody, what's up, people?
and we have a brand new person here. We have Shark King. Ooh ha ha!
Ooh ha ha.
Ooh ha ha.
That's running him high.
You guys all suck at this. We all did it non-sync. It's okay. Don't matter. So he's
We're
gonna.
like an echo chamber, okay?
That's a weird echo. Okay, I'll go with that.
It got very Hispanic as it went on.
Yeah, I did just a little bit.
Miles, we just started. You're gonna be racist already. It's too early.
Whatever.
All right, so in this video, we're gonna talk about obviously Venom. We're gonna go over just the general things as we normally do. In the first half and the second half, we're gonna go full spoilers about everything, and there's tons of spoilers to talk about. So first up, let's start off just I guess in general about the movie.
Question. Should we do overall score and then go into it first? Because that's what we did in one of our for Nintendo Direct when you weren't here.
Yeah, let's do our overall score, and then let's start with Shark King.
Okay.
Let's start with you. Like, just tell us like overall like how you felt about the movie, CGI, whatever you want to, just in general.
Without spoilers.
Yeah.
Yeah, without spoilers. Overall, I thought it was solid. Like, it's not great, but it was still good. Like, it's worth seeing. It's a fun movie. It's not. I mean, the writing and stuff isn't overly fantastic. There's a little more details that I'm a little bit more nitpicky on, being a big comic book guy. But I can talk about that later. But overall, it was good. I think it's probably like a 7.5 maybe out of 10.
Okay.
Nice.
Really short and sweet, to the point. All right, let's go with Japorion.
Yeah, I actually agree along with Harry was saying. I do feel like it's a fun, comical movie. It is short. It is not your expected 2 hour and a half movie. I do feel that there was a lot of also advertisement in that, but I think overall, it felt like it was a alright movie. You're willing to watch it at any particular time. What happens after, that's another thing. But overall, I think I'll give the movie maybe a 7.5 out of 10 as well.
7.5. Okay, perfect. Miles, it is your turn. Give us your words of wisdom.
I agree pretty much with the other guys as well, but my score... I don't really want to say much. The ending... Okay, I'll just say this without spoilers. Well, no, I can't do it. By the end of the movie, my score went from a 6.5 to a 7. I'll put it that way. It was a fun comic movie. I love the comedy. The script was... it was not as good as the first one, but that's not saying much. It's a good movie. Like, if it's on TV or HBO or something in the background, it's one of those movies you just kind of watch and it's fun. It has some good gags.
If you're cleaning, you're like, oh, just put it on, just like background.
Yeah, it's like that. It's a good background movie. I know it might sound insulting, but it's a fun watch. I enjoyed the first one more. The CGI I don't feel was any better than this one. I do feel there's more CGI in this one because I think they got a little bit bigger budget. But I don't think the quality of that CGI was really technically any better. Villains were okay. Kind of generic. Yeah, anyway, it's a good dumb film. It's a B movie. So I give it a 7.
Okay, Mr.
All right, I'll add a little bit more to it. So the director for this film was Andy Serkis. He was in Black Panther. He was what's the guy that gets killed by Killmonger with the robotic arm? That guy. He's Gollum. Yeah, I forget the name. Shut up. Anyways, so he did good with the comedy side of things. I'll give him that much. Great. Like what Miles said. It was funny. The script wasn't as good, but it was funnier than the first one. CGI was okay. The good way to point what Miles said without spoilers, certain things in the movie that made it better, and it raised it from for me a 6 to a 7. So overall, it's a good movie. It's not great by any standard, but it's a good movie. It's you'll enjoy the film.
Okay, I'm gonna try and go more detail on this stuff. I feel like we're saying all the same thing. Oh, it was okay. It was alright. The comedy was good. Alright, so
Yeah,
without
amaze
going-
us.
without going, well, I'm not going to amaze you, but in terms of the movie, I did not like it. Okay, so when Venom the first came out, they already changed the way that he's portrayed.
His origin.
Basic- yeah, not just his origin, but like the way that he's portrayed. You know, in the comics, when Venom he's symbiote, especially even if you watch Spider-Man 3, like he's more evil. Like he has these evil tendencies when he's with Spider-Man. Then when he goes to Eddie Brock, like it's even worse, right?
Mhm.
Or with Flash or whoever it may be. And so in this one, like he didn't really have those tendencies in the first one, and it was more comical. He was meant to be light, right, and not necessarily be seen as a villain or an anti-hero at points. And so that type of character carries on to this one, where it's the same thing. And again, I was expecting it, but it still it still lacked. Like I wanted Venom to be portrayed like as this villain / anti-hero person, like kind of like, I mean, I know we haven't seen it yet, but like Morbius, it looks like he's going to take that kind of route. And so I wanted Venom to be like that. Huh?
That's what we hope. We still
That's
don't
what we
know. I
hope,
mean,
yeah.
we might think it's gonna.
Right.
How
That's
it's
what we
being
hope.
shown, it
Yeah.
seems like that is what
Yeah.
he's saying.
So that's
Wait
what
a
he's
minute, are you
shown.
giving us your review number, or are you just talking about the movie?
No, I'm just giving my general thoughts on it.
You did
That's what I
not
wanted.
wow us.
I'm not wowing you. I didn't say that. That was all Chiporeon. So anyway, so that was my thing with going into this movie. They use that same like buddy cop thing they had in the first one, and I wasn't a big fan of it. I felt that Woody Harrelson, he did a great job. He always does a great job, but he was very underutilized. Carnage overall was just a big letdown. The way that he was portrayed, the way that he was used, it just the trailers made it look so much better than what the movie actually was. And so, and actually, I wasn't even going into this movie like with high expectations too much. I was just like, oh, it's Woody Harrelson. He's gonna do a good job, and he did. But they just underutilized him and his character, and the story was just kind of meh. And so, I gave it a 6. With the ending, though, I would bump it up. I actually would bump it up to a 10, but I would not do that because that's not even it's not possible. I go up to 6.5. Yeah, I mean I would because it's just so great, but yeah, I'm
We can
hoping.
keep it a separate thing, yes.
Huh?
Oh no, we can keep the ending as a whole separate thing if you actually think about it. But overall, the movie itself.
Yeah. And again, kind of what Shark King said, like they took liberties in the origin and the background of Carnage, and they've done it with Venom, which again, that's what they do with movies because they have to for X and Y reasons. But some of it just felt too convenient.
Let me add something too, maybe to your point, Dave, because I don't really follow a lot of the comic book origins. So as a viewer that doesn't really know a lot of the backstory of Carnage and Venom, maybe I found it a little bit more enjoyable because I didn't have the critique, if that makes sense. Like I don't really know much about the background origin, so maybe I enjoyed it a little bit more on that. Maybe
That is a valid point.
It made
just for
Yeah.
viewers that are listening, like if you don't really know much about this origin story of them, you might find it a little bit more enjoyable. But if you're a hardcore comic book guy and you really respect the lore and stuff, yeah, it's probably not going to do it for you. Let me just add it that way.
well, here, let me see. Maybe a lot of you haven't read the comics, but did you ever watch Spider-Man? That was on Fox.
Yes, I did, but it was a little different too, for sure.
He's different, but the way that he's portrayed is a lot more true to his comic book origin than it was in this movie. And I can go more. We'll go in more detail later about that. But that was my biggest thing. Again, I can understand why they changed things here and there, but I felt like some of the changes were just so convenient. It just it made it just fall flat on its face, in my opinion. But yeah. So overall, 6.5.
Yeah, I think the way I see it is just trying to take it as a new, well, I don't know, a new take, perhaps, but their interpretation of what Venom should be.
So I got a good answer for this. I'll let you finish, Paul. Sorry.
I think you
No,
finished.
Oh.
yeah,
You don't wanna say no more,
that's what I
no?
said. It's just
Oh.
interpretation.
A good way
Yeah.
of pointing it out is if you felt kind of upset about this film, or if you didn't like it, if you're one of the comic comic book lore people. This is Sony's Marvel side of things. It's not MCU. It's not Disney's Marvel writing the script, putting 50 heads into it, making the script and stuff. So if you don't like it, you can go about it that way and be like, okay, it's these guys at Sony making it, so it might not be the best because they don't have every person's mom and child in there writing the script. So I went about it that way, so I didn't really hate it. I didn't really dislike it too much because like, okay, this is Sony doing it. I'm not mad.
No. But well, so overall, I think the average score is like 6.
The way that I see it,
it's like 6.5. I think is the overall score.
Yeah, overall.
Yeah.
Round if we put everything together, round up average.
yeah, the way I see it, I think they were trying to make the movie to make a safe movie, not take too many risks. Just to it will deliver something similar to what they have on the first movie.
They should have made rated R. I wanted to see Carnage, like blood.
Without spoiling
Alright, we can-
anything,
we
let
can
me
stand that.
mention something as well. The one thing with it being so short, and I remember talking to you guys outside about this, is normally when you have development, especially with a strong villain or stuff like this, or a strong development of the hero, you usually have the hero where they're pretty. How do I say it? So they get up to the fight, right, and they seem pretty confident, then they lose, and then they have to get back up, and then they struggle to find a way to come back and do that. You're not going to get that in an hour and a half movie on this type of movie. I mean, pretty much all your character development's all in like one fight kind of scene. So it's just, I feel they're almost kind of like limited from budget, where they have to lower the script, so they have to cram everything in, and it just kind of falls short in my opinion on that.
Yeah.
And like what Miles said, it's only an hour and a half. Like that's the downside to this film. I think. I mean, obviously we don't want it to be long movies all the time, but I felt like this particular film should have been at least an extra 20 minutes longer, just to give you some extra stuff or some extra fights, whatever it could be. I feel like it feel better.
That they're trying to make this movie safe, because think about it. Like if they were to make a longer movie, of course that will actually fill out more time in the movie theater, but the shorter it is, more people are able to go into the theaters and be able to see it more times. They have the option to making an R-rated movie, which would be awesome for all cool fans. Like there were many hints during this whole movie that it's going to be something very dark, very R-rated, but no, they just turned to PG-13. And why? Because more people are able to watch it. And if there are more people able to watch it, more opportunity to make money. So they're trying to make a specific safe choices for them to make more money as fast as possible.
I will say a lot of the violence that they cut out for the rated R2, to add to your point, is a lot of cutaway scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like if somebody's head's going to get eaten or somebody's going to get killed, right? You see the momentum of that movement or action being played out, and then it cuts or it pans the camera away.
I think it would have worked in its favor, it being R.
Yeah.
It worked with
Yeah,
Same.
we could argue about this. All like make that part a long thing. No, I meant like like what's the other word?
Discuss,
Not argue. Like what people do when they're when they discuss.
Have a
each other.
logical conversation.
I just said discuss or debate.
Debate. That's the word. It's debate.
There you go.
We can debate about it forever, but like overall, they played it too safe. I feel. Obviously, this is a Marvel film, so they could have made it longer. People who are Marvel fans, cinematic fans, know movies are going to be long, so it didn't matter about the time length. The rating, maybe, but I think R would have been fine, because Venom is like Deadpool in that sense, where the rating doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter if it's too low.
Well, anyway, let's keep going.
Yeah.
So
let's go.
let's stop with the normal talk. We're gonna start with spoiler talk now. So if you haven't watched the movie, go watch it or pirate it. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care about this movie. So you have
Not that David really condones pirating. Just put that out there.
yeah, but I don't care for this one. So we're gonna start spoiler talk in 3, 2, 1. All right. Let's start with this. Okay. I want to talk about. How did you like Carnage overall?
He wasn't really there. He was only there for a little bit. Yeah.
He was underutilized, big time.
Yeah. Question for you, King Shark. With
Shark King.
Carnage, Shark King. in the comics, 'cause I don't know the comics as well, is he kind of like Venom, where they're two separate beings talking together, or is he more like Cletus, where Cletus and Carnage are one? Because I know in the comics they don't say we, they say I.
Yeah.
So is there no two separate beings, or is it just Cletus as Carnage?
The way that one of the main comics explain it is Cletus and Carnage are actually more of a perfect match than Venom and Eddie Brock. So they actually identify themselves very much as one person. So that's why they say I instead of we, like Venom does.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like, so Carnage is obviously more powerful, and he's not actually like Venom. Still, like, Venom is very much a combination of Eddie and Venom. Like, it's kind of both of them share their mentality, which I think that's one of the things that both Venom movies do well, where you see that they kind of go back and forth between their personalities and what they think they should do. Where Carnage and Cletus are both basically just killers, and there's no thought behind it. It's just pure chaos, just kill, 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 kill. So they don't really think very much. There's not too much character development. It's just basically there's going to be a lot of death if Carnage ever shows up in a comic book.
Okay.
And
What were you gonna say, Miles?
You're okay. I was gonna add on top of underutilized. What was the name of the female character that Carnage or Woody Harrelson's character was?
Girlfriend?
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
What was her name supposed to be? Like Scream or yeah? That was such a pointless villain.
I call her Facebook because her initials are FB.
There you go. She was like, what the hell is the point of her?
Well, see,
weaken him.
Mr.
To weaken Carnage.
came up with a good point about this part. Is that he was thinking early on, like, oh, she's gonna betray Carnage and use her powers to subdue him.
Sure.
And so that's when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, this is so convenient that he's gonna love someone who is a direct counter to Carnage or to Venom, like, of course.
Sure.
And luckily, like, I mean, yeah, she did help, I guess, in some way to
For the 5 minutes she had screen time.
yeah, but she ultimately didn't help, like, all the way.
Yeah.
Which again, I'm okay with. But whatever.
I felt she was needed to the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
It was just pointless having her. I just didn't get the point. I felt there's just a lot of wasted shit in this movie.
Yeah, like I said, like 80% of it was just blech. Like, again, it was funny. Like, it was funny with Eddie and Venom fighting. Eddie trying to keep Venom from not eating people, even if they're bad. The whole thing with the chickens, like, it was funny, right? I had laughed at those parts, but overall, like, it was just like it was like an hour that this was going on, and it just nothing happened. You're like, really? An hour? You wasted an hour of my life of them not doing
bantering.
Anything. Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing like the first one, right, Days? I mean, like, I just rewatched it, and I mean, 2/3 of the movie is nothing happening. I mean, you have an hour and a half. Get to the effing point. Like, I like the jokes. Don't get me wrong. I love the character dynamic between Eddie and Venom, but it does not need to go on for 45 minutes.
I think the reason on that is because they're really wanting to introduce and provide a backstory for all the characters. I mean, especially with Carnage. I mean, people that have seen the cartoon know about Venom. They know about him, but there are some people that have no idea, that have never seen any of this, that they want to provide some.
Movie. Yeah, it's called the first movie.
Yeah,
I'm just like, right, but I'm saying we don't need, like what Dave was saying, it's just like, it's like the whole film. I mean, we don't need that much time of Eddie and Venom is what I'm getting at. I'm saying I would have been nice to go more on Woody Harrelson and him with Venom and, I mean, Carnage.
Oh, yeah.
And stuff. It would have been better spent dealing with getting to know the villain and stuff, because otherwise he just turns into like a typical comic book villain, with no depths.
Well, here's the thing, I think this is a great comparison. If you compare this to, like, Spider-Man 2, so in Spider-Man 2, the Sam Raimi one, is, he has this struggle of wanting to be Spider-Man or just living a normal life, also dealing with Doc Ock, and they do this this great balance of showing how his life is normal, how it is as Spider-Man, and he fights Doc Ock on multiple occasions, and he fights other people as well.
And he loses a lot.
And he ends up, not being Spider-Man for a little bit. And it was great pacing in that movie, right? And you had multiple encounters, whereas in this one, they took this encounter that Spider-Man did, or when he doesn't want to be or is debating on being Spider-Man or not, it's like 15-20 minute section of the movie and extended to an hour. and it just didn't work.
That's a great example, actually, David.
Comes down to writing.
Yeah, and one thing that I wanted to talk about
I think something I would say to a particular. Oh, go ahead.
No, you were cutting out.
yeah, you
Keep
can
going.
go Paul.
Oh, no, I'm gonna say I do agree with what Miles was saying. I wish they were able to provide more information about Carnage, show a little bit more about his mentality. I mean, they provide a basic background story on that, and they did some really cool animations. But the fact that they were able to humanize it and adding a girlfriend right in the very beginning, I don't know. I just feel like it was really necessary. I wish, like, I agree. More of Woody Harrelson, more about Carnage, more about the way that he interacted, all his killings more in depth. I think that would be kind of cool.
And that ending part, I hated when he's like, I just wanted you to be my friend. What?
Yeah,
That
that's
I was like, is this reverse Flash versus Flash? Is this about Dom? Because that's literally how in one comic iteration how he dies, is he gets killed by Flash and he's like, I wanted to be your friend, and he erases him from existence. So it's like, stupid.
Shark King, I had a question for you. So
Go ahead.
here's the thing that also bugged me is, you know, we're supposed to, and comic book readers mostly, or if you watch the cartoon, like, they're supposed to be the perfect synchronized host and symbiote, right? Carnage and Cletus. And in this one, there was, again, because there was a girl, there was this, they weren't in sync. And the fact, and again, lines that they just said in the movie just pissed me off. He's like, you guys are more in sync than Carnage. I'm like, no, that's false. That's not true. That is completely false. The fact that
That is a fallacy.
the fact that when they got hit with the sound of the bell or whatever, and when they're falling from the church, and at that point Carnage retreats and gets out of Cletus, makes even less sense because he's in his bloodstream, and technically Carnage can heal if he's in Cletus' bloodstream. So it makes no sense for him to get out of it. It was just so many things. Just at the end, they're just throwing stuff out there like, oh, let's have Venom eat Carnage. Yeah, let's have him eat his head, Cletus' head. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, I was pretty mad about that. I mean, I'm kind of mad that Carnage basically, or Cletus, dies because now they can't use him for any following movies. And if it's just gonna be strictly Venom universe things, like, there's really not much more to go from there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's not
Yeah.
It's gonna be hard to that villain.
Well, see, this is kind of what I was saying earlier. Like, everything you guys are saying, I was not aware of that on lore, so that stuff didn't bother me because I didn't know the lore part of that. You know what I mean? So I guess, I mean, I'm coming obviously as more of a casual viewer. To me, that stuff didn't bother me because I didn't really know the whole part of that.
Which is fine. That's good.
No, it's
I
fine,
think
but
that's
it's good as a different, opinion, I guess, or perspective of viewership, right?
That's
Like,
great.
if you
It's
don't
great.
know shit, you're probably enjoying that stuff more. But somebody that actually knows the lore is probably pissing you the hell off. I mean, I get that way with Star Wars,
Exactly.
Light speeding into spaceships is freaking stupid. It's not lore accurate. I get the argument, but people that don't know, they're like, "Wow, that was a spectacle." So I get what you guys are saying, and I totally understand.
Miles, I'm
And
pretty
I think that's why it's so mixed review.
Miles, I'm pretty sure it's canon that you can extend a lightsaber to the size of a Star Destroyer and then cut it in half. Going to lightsaber.
You're absolutely right. I'm sorry.
Studio Trigger wrote that canon. It's canon now.
I give you my apologies. You're absolutely right.
No, but
Thought it was
so
funny.
but kind of ending this part with Carnage before we go to the final part is some of the people who are listening, they're like, why are you only focusing on like the last like 20 minutes? Is because that's the only part that actually something happened.
Yeah, there really wasn't much going on besides just comic humor for the first like 45 minutes. I mean, an hour and 20-minute movie, I'm sorry. Yeah, 2/3 of the movie was just nothing but jokes and drama between Venom. I mean, you guys want to talk about, I don't know, the stupid Halloween party scene? I don't know. I mean, what else is there to talk about? I'm sorry.
This is what they could have done. They could have done this. They could have made this a Disney Plus thing with mini episodes, and it'd be like, it's Venom and Eddie, and then just have like a comedian show, and then they give us the movie. It's the last 20 minutes, and we're like, okay.
It might have been
Actually,
like
got a point.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine. That's what it would have been. Brooklyn
There you
Nine-Nine.
go. That's a
Brooklyn
great
Nine-Nine with
way.
the symbiote, yeah.
That's a great way, actually, to explain it. Holy shit. That actually works. Yeah, he's actually not wrong, guys.
So another thing that bugged me before we get to the last 20 minutes, finishing it off of this, and I'm pretty sure Javi did too. Obviously, this is a comic thing. I did not like how they made Cletus kind of like a Joker, where he's smart and methodical, kind of thing. Because Cletus is just an idiot. He didn't go to school. He doesn't know how to read or write, and all he knows is destruction. So that's why he's perfect for Carnage, because that's all singular mind. So it's like, oh, I have these thought processes. Here's where the victims are laid out in my prison cell, all here in front of you. It's like, no, but I get it. It's Sony's Marvel universe, so I kind of let it go. I was like, I'll let it slide because this isn't the main canon. This is side canon. This is like the side comics, where they're like, Universe 626 or Universe.
Well, it didn't matter.
At the end, it is canon now, right? At the ending, should we talk about the ending?
Well, that's what I was going to say. Like, if it weren't for the ending, it wouldn't matter. But the fact that they actually, what the ending happened, this is in a way canon, but in a way, I don't know how to.
It's just another thing.
It's not canon. It's more like it took the character out of that place and put him into the canonical world.
Okay, well let's just go.
Let's get there. Let's go over
the main part. The main part. This is probably one of
part of the film.
Yeah, this is one of the best post-credit scenes ever.
Okay, this is let me
cinematic ever. Yeah,
this made for me the film go from a 6. It went one whole point up just because of this ending, this post-credit scene. Post-credit scene. It went one whole point. So, David, continue.
This made me yell. Like, I don't yell or use a lot of curse words, but this one, like,
what did you say?
I heard him say shit. He said, "Oh shit!" And I was like, "Ah!"
I yelled. I was like, "Oh my god!" Okay, so this is what happens at the end. At the end of the movie, before the mid-credit scene, they're in some, I don't know if they're Hawaii, but they're on an island. They're on a beach, and then
that's a Hispanic place.
Yeah, when they say Puerto Rico, I don't care, Cuba, whatever. So they're watching a telenovela, and then there are some hints that you're like, what's going on here? Because Venom is talking about how he's lived for like billions of years or millions of years, and that he knows stuff about other universes. And so like, is he
has a hive mind.
He's gonna explain the Big Bang, what happened before the Big Bang.
Let me explain this a little bit here. So in the comics, the symbiotes share a hive mind, so they can see each other, they can talk to each other everywhere across the galaxy, everywhere across different universes. Mm-hmm. Continue, David.
So anyway, so as he starts trying to explain, he's like, "Do you want me to show you something?" And it's like, "Okay." And all of a sudden, outside, you see this light just appear, and you're like, oh.
Orange, golden light.
Yeah, like the tunnel light that you see, like with Doctor Strange. I was like, "Oh no!" And then all of a sudden,
and you actually,
yeah. And we're like, it just flashed, and then there wasn't too much of a change, except for now they're like outside, kind of, because they're like in a room, but now they like it's
the room
day.
changed to like a nice room, yeah. like a first class room.
Yeah,
he went from like a bungalow to a suite.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden you look at the TV that they're watching, it changes. It's no longer that Spanish channel; it's in English, and you see J. Jonah Jameson talking about Spy, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I could not believe it. I saw that, and then you see. And even Venom was confused, like, what the heck's going on here? And then he looks, and when they show Spider-Man's face,
Parker?
yeah, when they saw Tom Holland, see Peter Parker, I'm not exactly sure how to interpret this part, because he like goes and he licks the TV.
He gets infatuated. He sees a potential host. That's literally what he saw.
He's like, I like this one.
Yeah.
That was awesome, and the crowd was freaking. Oh my god! You could hear you could feel the tensity of the entire theater. Like, what the hell? Like, yeah, the whole theater was like, just holy shit, dude.
And this makes sense. Like, it was funny because you know how they were having all these different. It was moving. Like, when is this movie gonna come out? It makes sense now why it kept moving. Like, because they wanted to probably get as close to Spider-Man as they possibly could, so it doesn't spoil.
I wanted to wait for the trailer, dude.
Yeah, but
you gotta get hyped from the trailer first. You can't drop that before the trailer drops, dude.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out what to do with it, and this was awesome. Again, this confirms, like, we knew there was gonna be crossovers, but now it's confirmed that Venom is now in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, at least right now, from what's going to happen in No Way Home. And I'm so excited. Again, he might appear at the end of the movie. I don't think he's going to be in the main
He won't be a big part of it. No way.
He's going to be at the end. He's going to be at the end.
Yeah, they'll show him at least. They'll show him. But I don't want
so I'm going to address something that I was really curious.
Sure.
So I was really excited when this happened. I'm glad that I was able to see it. I know King Shark was able to. He got spoiled a little bit, but he knew what was going on. But I was talking with him after the movie came out. I was like, "This is great. This is all." But the thing that kind of made me feel uncomfortable is at the very end of the movie with the whole inspector thing. After they kill all the enemies, Carnage is dead, and Echo or whatever the girl name is. That inspector, he has some glows into his eyes.
Oh,
I was looking at King.
Yeah.
I was thinking about King Shark about it. So wait, that means there's going to be some kind of sequel, right? For just Venom, right? And then this happens.
Yeah.
So like, okay.
Well, here's
I'm kind of conflicted because I do feel that okay, yes, Venom is gonna come and new Spider-Man is gonna happen. Yes, everything's gonna be great. But what happens before? Are they gonna just disregard it? Are they gonna put him back eventually? Or
if you remember correctly, like again, this is still Sony's property, right? Spider-Man is still Sony's property, and they've also confirmed that Tom Holland is going to be in Sony movies. And so again, I don't know how they're going to do it, but I think they're gonna establish something in No Way Home where he can go through different universes for whatever reason, and he's gonna go into Venom's universe and either help him there or do something like that. Again, I think they're taking out that whole what's it called, rivalry, or that whole like conflict between Venom and Spider-Man, and they're gonna work more together because for whatever reason that's what Sony wants to do, and that's what it's looking like to be, because he's no villain, he's not bad, and so I feel like Venom's gonna ask Spider-Man to go into his universe to help him with whatever's gonna happen there.
Sorry. I was gonna ask you. No, you're fine. I had a question actually for King Shark on that. You were telling me that the cop, I guess that the main person he'll be playing is actually supposed to be good and stronger than Venom and Carnage in the original lore. I want to ask you about that. Can you explain the lore on that? What that character is?
Yeah, so I was sitting right next to Miles, and only Miles because I was sitting on the end. But I pointed it out, and you saw me get really excited when I saw the cop. And you were like, why is that important? I'm like, well, I'll explain. I don't want to, I mean, we're in the middle of the movie, so I don't want to spoil anything. But the symbiote, and there's a scene where, I mean, at the end of the movie, since we're already in the spoiler section, we know that the certain police officer is infected with a symbiote host, or he's going to be infected with a symbiote host. And the symbiote, keeping it comic book lore, I mean, they could always change things, but it goes Venom, Carnage, and then Toxin. And Toxin is more powerful than both Carnage and Venom put together.
And he's a good guy too.
And he's a good guy.
How they set this up though didn't seem like it was going to be a good guy, right?
Yeah, that's the one thing. I mean, there's a couple things. I mean, I know I'm a big comic book guy, but I'll also understand that there's things that they have to make changes with because of movie stuff and things like that. Like how Venom right now is not really a villain. I mean, he's kind of obviously been a good guy. But I mean, if you're making a Venom movie and you make him the bad guy, like it'd be really weird. So I know that they're taking some obviously artistic liberties, which I'm fine with, but I'd be very upset if they turn Toxin into a villain.
Gotcha. I could see this too, just real quick. I could see, because you know how Carnage and Cassidy are symbiotic at a molecular level. I could see like him taking over that cop's body and then Cletus coming back as Carnage.
So
just
I have a question on
Sony's thing.
So yeah. Diego, I don't know if you know too, but what's the name of the leader of the symbiotes, or the creator, that like galactic dude? What's his name?
No.
Yeah, do you think that they'll bring that? Because I know that at the very end, I know that Venom was going to tell him about like what happened before the Big Bang and stuff. So do you guys think that like maybe they'll?
They hint at that. Noel is very new. I think he's within like 5 or 6 years.
Yeah,
and what they've done. Yeah.
But he's the creator of the symbiotes, right?
He's the god of the symbiotes.
They could use him because again, they in Endgame they used that whole Hill Hydra thing that was very new in the comics, and they decided to add it in Endgame. So it's not something that they won't do.
It'll be a very big story if they do Null, because there's an alternate comic right now. I think they finished it up that probably Javi knows, is where Venom becomes like the god of symbiotes. And Eddie's like in charge of it all too. It's a pretty crazy comic. You should definitely read it. It's a cool comic.
I guess what I was getting at was I didn't know if they're going to do some galactic scene where they could have like the other Spider-Mans and the symbiotes versus him and go to like the multiverse and have like Miles Morales. Like, I'm just throwing out ideas.
It could. I would like it, but it would be such a long build-up. This would be like 10 years.
Well, it keeps making money, right?
I'm going to say something that I would prefer. This is just me personally. I would prefer that from Venom to be brought into the Marvel Universe, and that's it. Don't worry about Sony, because you know how the movies have been so far. in the with
They're
the
mediocre at
first
best,
two.
sometimes.
Right. So I think ideally, I would prefer to have Venom just be in the Marvel universe and forget about what's happening in here. And that's what my conflict was with the whole cop situation thing. But there's something that we did not point out. I don't know if you guys did notice, and something that it's really exciting for me to see. Venom doesn't have the full Spider-Man logo custom in there in his outfit as well, and I think I'm really excited for that. Yeah, I think that would be really cool because now he will be like his full Venom character that we all know and grew up with. So I'm really excited for that part. If they were to keep it like that and just keep it in the Marvel universe, but yes, David did mention Sony does play a hand in that, so it might happen maybe momentarily, maybe it might not. But if it does, Sony still want to make more money out of the characters for sure. So
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. But all right, well, that gives it we're gonna end it there because unless we can go for longer, but we're gonna end it there. I just want to know what you guys think. You guys listening and watching this video, what do you think of the movie? Did you like it a lot more? Being not reading the comic books, did you like it a lot more, or maybe less? Just want to hear your thoughts on it. Leave a comment down below, and don't forget we have our podcast that's on Spotify and on Podomat.com that you'll be able to listen to on a weekly basis. So thanks so much for watching, guys. This is David the Smash Fan,
Mister.
get put in.
Javi.
and Shark King, and this is Chibi Podcast.